Welcome to the UK Nollywood Film Festival 2020. May I please introduce you to our host for today, Amanda Lara Kay.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you, Shirley. Hello, everybody. I'm Amanda Lara Kay, and I just want to give a warm welcome from me. I want to welcome the leaders of the community, the fans, the writers, the directors, and the community leaders. And I wanted to welcome you to the third edition of the first UK Nollywood Film Festival, held online this year for the very, very first time. So we've got a great program planned for everyone today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. I'm now going to introduce you to the president, Dr. Malcolm A. Benson, who's going to give you his welcome and keynote speech. And then when he's done, can I just ask that Lindsey Oliver, CEO of Yanga TV, be ready to go once Dr. Benson is done. So Dr. Malcolm A. Benson, over to you.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, everyone. I can see a whole lot of beautiful people. I can recognize a whole lot of friends of Nollywood, families of Nollywood. We are so proud to have you with us. People all over the world. Some are logging in from Jamaica. I can, identify her. She's there from all the way from Jamaica, Kingston. And we have our lovely people, Dr. Omar Douglas, the chairman of Kanuk. I can see him, he's logged in. Thank you, Dr. Douglas, for coming in. Dr. Dayo Olomu, we welcome you. Our lovely people, I can see our honorable mayor is here. Our June Douglas, the wife of Dr. Douglas, is here. A whole range of individuals who are here. I cannot mention every single person, but as we go along, I will check and recognize. Our secretary is here, Tolu Yusufu. Kanayor is here. She's the General Secretary of UK Nollywood Producers Guild, and an honorable member indeed. I can see Margaret Chukwudi, Jennifer Ezago. Our mayor of Brent is here. Ernest, you're welcome, honorable mayor. I can see Geraldine Obiwangu. I can see Flora and Joko. Eze, the comedian entertainer, is here. He's going to, make us laugh. And of course, M Prince, they are all here. Give it up for Dioba Authentic, Colin Ashley Pierce. We welcome you. And if I haven't mentioned your name, please bear with me. I'll get there. Today is for us. This is the first time we are doing an online virtual film festival. And we are proud to be one of those that held it for the first time online as well. Because of COVID, we are not going to let COVID defeat us. That's why we decided, okay, this year we would make sure we hold our third event online. So I welcome you. And I say, God bless you all for joining us, for making it a possibility. As we know, as we are talking about COVID, we know that the film industry in the UK and worldwide are facing a turbulent time. At the moment, the transition to the new normal seems very gray at the moment. It seems unclear what the new normal will become for the film industry post-COVID-19. the ability to release movies since the pandemic has been tossed upside down and sideways. And as you know, major releases such as even the likes of new James Bond film scheduled to be released this year have been postponed. So we all know in London, we are facing the second lockdown, which we just came out last Wednesday. And cinemas have been closed, theaters closed. So the film industry has had a turbulent time. It has made a serious impact on us. But what do we do? What do we do? We know that because of COVID, public gatherings have made us to hold our festival online this year. But we will celebrate. We will turn it to a positive outcome instead of allowing it to defeat us. Right. We, the filmmakers and studios, we have learned to learn that a new way is what we need in order to adapt. We have to make the most out of COVID going into 2021. Some filmmakers already have been able to find ways to close deals even during the pandemic. Most of them are having a lot of virtual meetings. They are able to close deals using Zoom, Team, different platforms. So this is no longer the time to rely on physical meeting in order to arrange any project that you need to put together. Us as filmmakers must embrace the new normal. We need to find ways to be able to continue to make films and to reach out to the other platforms. In fact, this COVID has made it possible for us to even be on a level playing field with some other bigger production companies, because everybody, for example, are now using virtual platforms. We are now competing to use virtual platforms to get our work out there. BFI, for example, this year held its first online film festival. The KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, they did their virtual film festival online. London Film Festival was online. We, the UK Nollywood Film Festival, we are also doing online. So there is some kind of synergy, some kind of level playing field. So we can never allow the pandemic to derail us. If anything, we should follow pursuit, because it's bringing everybody together using online platform. We know that Netflix has boomed majorly as a result of COVID. And for that reason, the content, the need for content has become even ever more competitive, because now there are more demand than the supply. Therefore, all filmmakers should look at this opportunity as a way to tap into the less supply of content. We need to step up our games. Netflix has announced that it will amplify local voices to bring new, diverse, and never before seen stories from Europe, Middle East, Africa to the world. It has come to recognize the great stories that can come from anywhere. And that the best content can actually come from places that they have not been looking at in the first place. We need to position ourselves for the SVOD and VOD platforms more than in-person theaters. We need to make films that can strive and perform well on SVOD, that's video on demand, subscription video on demand platforms. We no longer need to rely so much on theatrical releases, which cost a lot of money. We can now make films and just submit using aggregators online that can help us plug our films into Netflix, HBO, Amazon Prime, and the rest of them. So I bring you hope from today. Filmmakers who are based in UK and Europe especially, do not be discouraged by COVID. Continue to step up your game. Continue to work hard because the sky is actually not even your limit. Today, we have a number of speakers that will give us additional insight into how to survive post-COVID-19, especially going into 2021 and beyond. We have Kanayor, we have the CEO of Yanga TV, we have the Honorable Mayor of former Mayor of Enfield, still Honorable Mayor, double Mayor, who is our patron. She will be talking to us as a mother. We have the CEO of Ben Television at some point talking to us today, and many more. We have Prince Mike Abiola, the CEO of African Voice, who will be joining us. There's a whole range of professionals who are coming on today to support this film festival and to support us as filmmakers who are based in UK. We will make it happen. Once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining in to making this event already a big success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Benson. That was a wonderfully warm welcome from you. So next up on our itinerary, we have a keynote speech by Lindsey Oliver, who is the CEO of Yanga TV. Lindsey, can I hand it over to you? Are you with us, Lindsey?
Hello there. I'm sorry. Could you just wait a little bit longer? I'm on my phone and I don't have my speech at the moment, so I'm just waiting for it to come through. Would you mind just giving me 10 minutes or so?
10 minutes, no problem. We can do that. No problem.
Thank you
Lindsey.
so much. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
We move straight to Mayor Kate.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to move on to Dr. Mayor Kate, who's going to be giving her keynote speech, and she is the UK NPG patron. Dr. Kate, can you join us, please?
Yeah, hello everyone. Oh my goodness, when that music was going on, I stood up, but nobody can see me because I don't like just dancing to myself. I like people to really watch me while I'm dancing, and I really miss that music. So DJ, thank you for starting us on a wonderful platform. And can I say hello everybody? And then what can I say? First of all, Dr. Malcolm, Ibadi, well done.
Thank you, Auntie.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Auntie.
You know, it's such a shame that COVID has stopped us from celebrating all your achievements this year. You achieved so much, and all of them seems like it's all like dusted down. But listen, we're going to celebrate it next year. There's no doubt about it. You know, the COVID-19 pandemic has taken a heavy emotional and psychological toll on all of us, including stress, anxiety. The situation is unprecedented. Everybody is feeling overwhelmed and eager to talk to someone they can trust and maintain good mental health and well-being. Obviously, using technology to stay connected to friends and family has now become the possible and become the norm. And you have really wrapped it all but when you were speaking and talking about how things has to move on. Because if we wait for normality to come back, anybody who thinks that things are going to be what it used to be, that person is in the dreaming world. Things have changed. Life is not going to be the same. We just have to see what is the norm and we just have to follow it. And I'm so happy that you didn't wait to see when we can all see physically, in as much as I would have loved to see everybody, you know, physically, you know, because it has got its own kind of healing when you are with someone, touching and laughing and exchanging, and I can see your demeanor as you speak, you know, and I can know when I've upset you or when I've made you laugh, and you are laughing really truly laugh, because some of this laugh can be very funny. They don't mean proper laughing. It's not coming from the bottom of the heart. So today, you know, I can say that what you have achieved is just unprecedented. And I'm happy to say that not only that I'm glad that I'm one of the patrons, but I am glad that I am actually one of them, because it's something that is valuable to me. You see, when we watch television, we look at other actors and actresses, we admire them, but when the product is coming from us, we do not see the value. And I have to take my hat off for Prince Abiola, who has, you know, brought Africa right at the top there, the African voice. You know, he's brought it right up there, and that has made it for people now to realize that we have got absolutely wonderful actors and actresses, because he gives them award and they, you know, remember them and value them. And I have no doubt that this is what we are also doing here. So thank you very much, Dr. Benson, for what you are doing, and for everybody that who has attended as well. Because you're not just attending because you've been invited. You are attending because you like what is happening, what is going on. Because if you don't, you wouldn't want to spend your afternoon just coming to sit down and listen. We are sitting down and listen, and we just want to project not just Nigeria, we want to project Africa as one of the leading models in filmmaking. And I have never missed Nollywood. Since Nollywood started, I was among the first that were paying, and I continue to pay until it become free, you know, on Sky. So because I know I value our actors and actresses, and they are projecting, majority of the things are projecting are things that are reality happening in Africa and Nigeria. So you have a sense of understanding, you know, how, you know, we can project certain things. For example, since this week, as you know, from the 1st of December is International Day of we remember, you know, it's an AIDS day and it's an international. So since then, they've been showing films on AIDS. And not only they're showing it, they are showing it in different aspects and bringing our young people, teaching them. There are many things that even myself will say, oh, I didn't know anything about that. But these are our people acting on the way we perceive those that have AIDS, those that are living with AIDS, those that are married to people with AIDS, and those that want to marry them, and those that are going well with them, and then the family, our parents. So it's telling a story. How do we tell that story? The story is told by films like this, by you all making films and then teaching us, what we need to understand. And especially for parents who do not understand that films is the way you tell story. Films is the way you create, show culture. There are certain our culture, especially Nigerian culture, that has been wiped out of the surface, and we are bringing them back in the aspect of film for people to our young people to start to learn. They're asking, "Oh, did this used to happen?" I say, "Yes, they used to happen," and some of them we would really like to bring them back, because they show us, how we grew, how our villages lived, and how we demand how we kind of acquire respect because of the culture and custom that we have. So film is very important. And I thank you so much, Dr. Benson and your team, for bringing this out. And I can't stop also, I've got to mention Prince Abiola, because obviously, you are the lot in the same industry that is really making Africa, Nigeria, to be not only to be known up there in the whole world, but focusing on the things that are reality. Thank you very much. I can't wait for next year when we're going to, not only see ourselves physical. I just want to dance. DJ, make sure I'm going to stay until the last today and before the next event, because I want to make sure that I listen to the music. So thank you very much. I'm so happy, really, really, really happy to be here and to have logged on time as well. I was worried in case I don't log on time. So thank you very much. I had to stop now because politicians always carry on talking. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you, Dr. Kate. So wonderful to have you here today, and just to have your exuberance and your warmth as well. So thank you very much. Next up, I would love to introduce Dr. Alister Soyode as the next speaker, and he is the CEO of Ben Television. Dr. Alister, please join us. Are you with us, Dr. Alister?
Am I clean? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good day. Speaking from the most beautiful country in the world, Nigeria, and where the Nollywood industry is all about. One of the most productive industry that has been sharing stories of African people, the Nigerian people, and the global people. It gives me a pleasure to be here on the third edition of this festival. And of course, as some of the speakers are already alluded, bearing in mind the COVID-19 situation. We expected in 2020 that the industry would generate almost $1 billion to the Nigerian people, creating more jobs, reaching up to 50,000 jobs in the country. Somehow, we did not achieve that because the whole industry was completely locked down. Now, the impact of COVID-19 on the Nollywood industry, technically, would be a loss of almost $800 million, based on the expectation from last year's calculation that by 2020, Nigerian Nollywood industry should have generated something between that same amount. Somehow as well, the industry lost quite a lot of jobs opportunity for the youth, for the people. And as we all know, Nigeria is definitely challenged. Africa is challenged. Nevertheless, the COVID-19 pandemic doesn't seem to have affected the African people as much as it has affected the Western and other nations around the world. So my take really for this is that the industry will recapitalize, re-energize, and then go full force. What Mr. Benson and Co has been doing over the years is really to showcase our diverse stories, our diverse information, and sharing our stories with the world. The African people, the ethnic people, be it in the United Kingdom, in Nigeria, and across Africa, more or less may be more challenged because of the internal process of many other Western nations looking inward because of the challenges that we all face in 2020. But I believe by the emergence of the 2021, the festival, the industry, the Nollywood market will now re-energize and begin to focus on sharing even more stories that we have encountered across many nations, especially Nigeria. There is no doubt we know quite a lot of other things that have made the Nigerian industry to be one of the major ones around the world. But I absolutely believe as well, 2021 will give us another capacity, another opportunity to showcase our diversity, either in the United Kingdom with the stories of what we have seen that have affected BME communities and that is affecting us globally. So I want to congratulate each and every one of us for being able to attend this summit and contributing as our own strategy and option to make not just the Nigerian movie industry much more stronger and better, but to really reposition ourselves, even people like I, who might be born out of the industry due to one thing or another. But I want to thank all the contributors and those that are coming after me to contribute that the industry definitely has the capacity, has the resources to create more jobs, especially in Nigeria, generate more revenue for the Nigerian government. And I'm appealing to the Nigerian government using this opportunity as well to be able to share and create more funding for the industry, even though there has been fund that has been put aside before, but the industry has not been able to really access that funding. And it is necessary and more important now for the government to begin to look inward and reduce and provide that funding for the industry so that they can share the story and generate more return for the Nigerian people and the Nigerian government. Once again, thank you very much. Speaking from one of the most beautiful nations in the world called Nigeria, with more than 200 million people. And every time you look at the challenges, there are always opportunities. We just need the right story so that we can share these opportunities and make good return and progress. Once again, thank you very much. Alister speaking, all the way from Nigeria.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dr. Alister Soyode, thank you so much for such an inspirational and positive ending, and especially in light of everything that we're going through. So thank you so much for joining us. Next up, let's have a look. I just want to see, Lindsey Oliver, are you with us and are you ready to join us? Yes or no?
Yes, she is.
Fantastic. Lindsey Oliver. Lovely. I'm going to hand it over to you. Yes, please join us.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to Auntie Kate and to Alister. Sorry to be late joining. I'm not the best technical person when it comes to typing and things, so I was waiting for somebody to send back some revisions to me. So sorry about that, guys. But thank you very much, and Malcolm as well. Thank you very much for asking me to speak here. It's a great privilege. I've put my evening dress on, even though it's only 2:30, but I felt you have to get into the mood, don't you?
Yes.
So I'll crack on and welcome everybody with hopefully with my speech. So the impacts of COVID-19 on the film and entertainment industry. Well, my goodness, COVID-19 has changed the world in ways that nobody would have expected. It's disrupted lives and businesses. We all know this. It's entrenched a new global order, or what we've come to know as the new normal. The effects of the pandemic continue to reverberate around the world, with impact felt across every segment of human society. And one of the most badly disrupted industries is, of course, the entertainment industry, particularly the audiovisual subsector. And the impact of the pandemic has not been felt any less keenly in Nollywood, the world's second largest film industry, employing more than 1 million people and producing about 50 films every week, with movie practitioners having to suspend scripts and shoots and losing millions of US dollars to the pandemic. The global industry, entertainment industry, comprises various genres, of course, such as film, dance, online video streaming, amusement parks, theatrical productions, live events and trade shows. It's a huge industry. The primary factors for the growth in the industry before the COVID pandemic struck include the increased adoption of online video streaming, especially people like brands like Netflix and Amazon Prime, who of course have done very well. And the rise in the multiplex chain of cinemas and their expansion into semi-urban areas, along with the rising number of Chinese investors, were also helping the growth of the entertainment industry before the pandemic, of course. But by nature and structure, the industry thrives on human contact. And the COVID-19 pandemic has ensured that physical distancing by humans is the new norm. This physical social distancing has naturally had serious consequences on our industry. In China, the government shut all the cinema theatres and amusement parks in order to stop the spread of the virus. And in Nigeria and other African countries, government did the same in similar fashion. In the United States, the leading entertainment companies like Warner Brothers, Sony Pictures, Motion Picture Group, Walt Disney, Universal, 20th Century Fox, all the big ones, they've all seen their similar cinema release businesses absolutely devastated. Several productions, particularly in Hollywood, were affected as shootings were either suspended or cancelled. Although having said that, the story on the streaming side, particularly the relative new players such as Netflix, has been very different. They've really benefited from this new normal. For example, although Walt Disney had to cancel its European press launch and tour for its new Disney Plus platform, it has to be said that the Disney Plus product has had a very successful first few months. Before the year 2020, the global film industry indicated a robust computation for the future. It looked good. The future looked rosy, and global box office earnings had grown consistently for years, adding up to about $42 billion in 2019. But in early 2020, the coronavirus pandemic began to seriously affect the film industry after a huge number of theatres closed in an effort to contain the outbreak. As for the music industry, the impact of the pandemic has been no less consequential. A 6-month shutdown was estimated to cost the industry more than $10 billion in sponsorships, with longer delays causing even more devastation. The lucrative global music industry has two major income streams. The first, live music, makes up about 50% of total revenues and is derived mainly from sales of tickets and live performances. This has obviously been hugely affected. However, the second, recorded music, combines revenue from streaming, digital downloads, physical sales, and synchronization revenues. And by that, I mean the licensing of music for movies, games, TV, and advertising. And the recorded music side has had a real resurgence, which is a testament to the growing adoption of streaming services by both music labels and consumers. Streaming now makes up almost half of recorded music revenue. But essentially, the pandemic has affected our industry in an unquantifiable way. And the post-pandemic outlook really appears challenging. Previous growth forecasts are, of course, expected to be revised significantly. And rebuilding our customer confidence in the sector is going to be difficult. Even with the proven vaccine that we're promised, it remains to be seen how many consumers will be attending concerts, attending movies, live events, amusement parks when they reopen. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. But look, it's not all bad news. Challenging times are always an opportunity to innovate and find new solutions to problems. In television and audio-visual production, for example, groups, particularly international organizations, are finding that they can hold live events online. It's not easy to hold an event or shoot a film on Zoom or Skype, etc., and make it look and feel like a sleek professional product, but it can be done. And I just wanted to share with you an experience I had yesterday, which has really filled me with hope for this future. My company, I think you probably know, I work with Yanga TV over in West London, but we try not just to be a TV channel, but also to reach out and be a production company for other businesses and to support other industries. And we were asked to host the Global Forum for the African Union yesterday, and which was a huge event for us. We were so pleased to be asked to do it. And I can tell you that the preparation and the coordination for this was very intense. You need to be ready, not just with backup plans, but with backup plans for your backup plans, when you're doing these events online, because you're coordinating contributions from several inputs and countries at the same time. And of course, you're at mercy of each individual network. But after all the preparations, I was astonished at the quality of the result that could be achieved. And look, we had African presidents, we had top officials from the UN, and CEOs of various commercial organizations in attendance. But it went so well that it really filled me full of hope for the future. And another example I have to mention is the Nigeria at 60 celebrations that we hosted too. Again, it took a lot of preparation and it was rather hairy because it's not the sort of thing that we're all used to doing. But in the end, we were able to, I hope, make people feel engaged and including in that celebration, because obviously a country doesn't celebrate its 60th year of independence every day. And because this had fallen within the time of the pandemic, we really wanted to make a special effort to properly celebrate it with everybody. So again, we did that at the Yanga studios, and it went very well, and it really showed the promise of this new technology that we're all grappling with and trying to get comfortable with at the moment. So I'd like to end by saying I'm very optimistic about the new normal. I believe that even after this pandemic is over, this way of holding global events production will be here to stay. It's exactly what some of the previous speakers have said. I think we're all in agreement on that. Things have changed forever. Some things will go back, and we will go back, thankfully, to doing some things in the same way. But in other ways, I think the new challenges that we've had to overcome have really taught us so much, and they will stay with us and benefit us in years to come. So in short, for the audiovisual industry in general, the code for surviving the new normal is adaptation, adaptation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Lindsey, Oliver.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. Thank you, much appreciated. Amanda, over to you. I don't know.
Lindsey, Oliver, thank you so much. Lovely, edifying and informative. So next up on our itinerary, we have a comedy by Etse D Entertainment. Etse, are you able to join us? Next up. Etse D Entertainment, are you with us for the next speech? Are you able to join us? Not sure if we're getting any contact over there. Maybe we'll give her a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Can you come and join us and give us your speech? Etse, welcome. Please join us.
Whoa. Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, I had to run. You know, our problem here is power. So my phone was in charge. I have to run to go and borrow a power bank from my neighbor so that I can be able to continue the meeting. How are they now?
Fine.
How are they?
Fine.
I hope I can mix my performance with Pidgin and the rest because we know to go school. If you know, you know. So you have to mix it. Or you when they understand English, I'm very, very sorry. I don't want to know to speak. One person not go bite in tongue based on saying the speaking. Thank you very, very much for having me. I want to thank the organizers of the UK Film Festival for having me this evening, Nigerian time. Okay, evening here. My name is Entertainer. I'm an actor. I'm an entertainer. I'm a comedian. And I'm representing the best country in the world. See, I don't care what the CNN is feeding you guys with. I don't care what care for this news channel, Fox News and the rest, they tell you for here. Nigeria, to me, is the best country in the whole of this world. We have the best president. I don't even have time to argue. Our president is the best. All right. This thinking while they talk now, this was what I was more working with before what happened to me last year happened. Around the 28th of March, 2019. I was involved in a government conference where other musicians, politicians, senators, and the rest, they attended the conference. So after the whole everything, They can't lodge us for hotel. 5-star hotel, to see this hotel. Yeah, this hotel makes sense. So if you can agree with myself, can you hear me? Please, can I see your hands? Like,
yes, we can
can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
All
Yes, we
right,
can hear
thank
you.
you. So as put me for the hotel, if you can agree with me, 5-star hotel, the facilities are mad, everything there dope. They be like, say, person don't die, go heaven. If you know, you know. Understand? Just heaven standard hotel. So I got to understand that most of these hotels, most of these 5-star hotels, if you agree with me, instead of using room as numbers, numbers as to identify rooms, most of them use cities, popular cities, you know, right? Most of them can use you can take a room. Oslo is in Norway. You can take in Copenhagen, Denmark, and the rest. So this hotel, their own pattern. They didn't use city this time. They use countries as to identify their rooms. You get. So remember, it's a government planned conference, and they lodge their guests. So as a pathetic citizen that I am, and I didn't want to offend the government, I saw other rooms though. I saw other rooms. People were taking different rooms. I was busy looking for the room that goes Nigeria, but because I'm Nigerian, I was busy looking for this room. Even we are supposed to get there and stay Wahala Day. Now even senators they follow us. For this thing where we say now the country be their main source of income. The senators say then leave, they abandon our country room Nigeria, take other rooms. You get one way we take Burkina Faso, just take other African countries. Some take Chad room, some take Botswana. I was like, what's all this? What's the fit of patriotism? But I wasn't bothered. I can look and say, I'm Nigerian, I'm patriotic. So as I took this room, I opened the door. I looked for the switch, something, and I pressed it. It wasn't working. I can't say maybe I just normal electric fault. So I went down to the receptionist and I complained. I said, good afternoon. I took the Nigerian room, the room they wrote Nigeria, and then the light is not working there. Okay, I didn't say I took the room. I said my room is not working. The man can't ask me, say, which room did you take again? I can't say the room now, Nigeria, normal. Say, okay, you don't fuck up. I said, what do you mean by you don't fuck up? Because see how this hotel is being planned. They work with how things they happen for the country. They give the whole room this thing. So even people will take UK, people, it's not like matter because it's telling me. Say people take UK room. Say most of them as they open this thing, no and all those things they fall for. They are saying, wow. Because so how you go be now? Because they don't already take them. Say you don't take them. Say and we cannot refund because the match you would have entered your name in the computer. I can say, so how do I say there's no light now? So he gave me a bag. As I opened the bag, my brother, as I opened the bag, what you have seen inside the room, the bag now, candle and matches. Now I can't. No wait, I'm still coming. I can't still look inside the bag. Another thing, I can't ask the man say, so okay, this candle and match is nice to light up the room, Abi. Now how do I handle the temperature of the room? It's hot and everything. So he said I should check inside the bag, and I checked inside the bag and I saw hand fan inside the bag. Now remember I said this is a 5-star hotel, so I was very very angry. So what kind of nonsense is this? This is unheard of. What insolence! Are you know what it means to be called a 5-star hotel? Please remove that 5-star in that hotel. This hotel is no star. I was shouting. Then I saw security coming out from nowhere. I can't humble myself. I can't remember say even this events where I go to, they never pay me balance. You understand? And my boss is there, which is the senators and politicians, they are still lodged in the hotel. I can't compose, say, let me bear it. She is 1 night, I will go. So I took my problem, which is the candle and the matches and the hand fan, and I went to my room. I opened the door again, and I on the matches. Inside 5-star hotel, when I said, give me candle, you are the judge. I on the matches and the candle. Inside 5-star hotel, as I on and the first one see the 5-star hotel, one big rat just walk from nowhere. Shoot! I saw Jesus. Rat inside hotel. Ha. Okay. Apparently I did that dodge. I said, okay, that one don't go. I cannot complain to anybody now. I don't already claim the cost. Say I did for I collect Nigerian room. Anything where they happen here, I can fix it. So as I put my clothes now, so make I hang my trousers. I first hang my trousers, put my shirt, make I hang them for the wardrobe. I can't even say movement happening inside the wardrobe. I already hang my trousers. As I open the wardrobe, go and get monkey waiting inside the wardrobe. The monkey don't collect my wallet, steal my money. I watch this monkey. Come see where the portion monkey inside 5-star hotel. I the portion this monkey. God come do a cat and I collected my wallet. Then the monkey now left the window. I can't say I go see beer. So I took the candle and I was trying to look around the room. My brothers and sisters, you will not believe the next thing I saw. You should agree with me. All these hotels, it's not even 5-star hotel. Like 3-star hotel, 2-star hotel. You agree with me that it's all tiles. They use tiles, they try the ground. The ones where may reduce the code, most of them they put standard drugs. You will not believe that the road leading to the toilet and bathroom of that hotel, of that Nigerian room I collected, there was no form of, it wasn't tagged. I would have assistance. If you see pothole when they inside the road, where leads to the hotel and to the toilet and the bathroom, this pothole inside that room. I was like, what kind of problem is this? Let me explain that for this country go up inside this room now. What did I even involve myself into? Okay, I can't kill through, can't match, can't enter the bedroom. I can't on the water. The water wasn't running. I wanted to shout. I can't look around. The next thing I saw, it broke my heart. I saw ketchup and bucket inside the room. I used to say, anybody in the corner room, you don't have access to the shower. What's the call on the side? Shower. You would have to go down and fetch water. So I tied my towel. I went downstairs. I go down, go fetch water for their well for 5-star hotel. I enter lift, so I enter lift, go down, fetch water, come back up with lift. I wasn't coming with anybody again. I just did this. The soap that they even kept for me to get myself wasn't even this thing now. And hand wash soap. If you people they come to Nigeria, there's one soap they call Good Mama. A Good Mama nine they put for me to use bath. Thank God I had my own soap. So I use my soap as a bath. Once okay, make I sleep. As I open the duvet, I lie down on top. My brother, since nothing on nothing for inside that duvet. Both the dentist side, both no. I said, no, this is the height. You see, I cannot take it again. I packed my bag, say, not anything of may happen. If they don't pay my balance, they don't pay me. I went downstairs to the second and I said, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. If I video this thing and put it on CNN, this hotel will be shut down. What kind of nonsense is this thing? I'm not saying I want to live here. The woman called the beg me. I said, don't beg me, don't tell me that. I'm leaving. He say, okay, before you leave now, let's give you your bill. I said, bill for what again? He said, the bill now. I said, I don't say, I can't pay here now. What am I paying for again? Because say, did you own the candles? I said, yes, I own the candles now. Because say, let's bring your electric bill for the candles where you own. You get? So I said this intelligent and I said right end ladies and gentlemen. Please, if I still have more time, I can go on and on. I can go on and on. Thank you guys for the audience. But let me continue. Thank you.
It's thank you so much for joining us and for giving us.
I'm not done.
Oh, he's not done.
Wait.
You're not done.
I'm not done.
Bring more, please.
I'm not done. Oh yeah. Okay. So my sister Anita is in the UK. She's one of your members, the producers deal to get. So when one of the times I was just bored, I decided to just call her on video call to just know what is happening. So I called her and I noticed that the environment she wasn't their house exactly. I saw her husband in the video. I couldn't be like, Anita, what's not this for? Where's on again? I'm buying another house. People say no, say then go their neighbor side. What's your neighbor side? What happened? Say their neighbor child, they get mood swings. So they get just they break things for the house, they get on break television, break TV, television and TV, what am I going to say? Break television, break their glass door, break their glass window, and don't even break the papa always stay for motor. I can't say you can say what they happen. So the parents of the girl came to their flat to beg to come and tell them to help them beg the girl to calm down. I can't say okay, let's go talk now. But as I wanted to leave and I said, sorry, that girl with the break all this thing, how old is she again? I said she's just a was it 3 years? As in 1, 2, 3, 3 years. What's it 3 years? I said you mean it? Because I heard that thing, I was motivated. I was inspired. Say if a 3-year-old girl can get mood swings and break things, who am I? Who am I where I'm not get mood swings, spoil things? As I come back from house that day, I was ready for anybody that was going to tackle me. So I came back and my mom started as usual. My mom said, hey, where you go? I said, Mama, I go show and I just came back and I said, this is rubbish. Yesterday you left the house. You did not cook anything. You did not wash the plate. Today, this morning, you left the house. You did not wash the plate. What are you leaving that plate for? Will you go inside the kitchen and clear the dishes before I handle you? Before you know it, I just get mood swings. I can't vex. I enter kitchen. After I enter kitchen, the mood swing can't carry me. I can't find things I go break. my brothers and sisters, ask my neighbors that were around. Ask my neighbors that were around. It was even plastic plate that I was plastic plate that I just wanted to taste my most fingers. You understand? Before I bring the plate, I didn't even break the plate completely. It was tough. You understand? So I said, so I could just broke the plate small before I know it. My mom didn't even care about my mood swings. Her hands were just swinging. She was just swinging her hands anyhow from right to left and center. But the one that landed on my eye and the one that landed on my nose and the rest. I said, I'm going to wake up the next day. All right, let me do one more if I still have time. Thank you. Let me do one more if I still have time. Do I still have time?
Is there no more smooth swing?
Mrs. Amanda,
are we safe to say that are we complete? Eze, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us so many giggles along the way.
All right, thank you very, very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Probably next time I'll be live there, yeah. I'll be live there next time to hold it down. This is what we'll do.
2021. We'll see you next year. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for having me. My name is Tina. That's my handle on all platforms. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gracias.
Take care. Bye. So
Bye.
Next up on our itinerary, we have a production talk by film director Kanayor. Kanayor, are you ready to join us, please?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Welcome.
I am. Oh, I'm planning to actually share my screen. So hello, everyone. First, let me say hello to everyone. How are you? Excellent, excellent. Please, I know, we are all kind of catching up on this technology thing, but we can actually still clap and, clap for the last, for Eze. He did an excellent job. Yeah, there you go. When you're seen, you can also be heard. It's part of the whole learning thing. Great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's excellent. And we're all catching up. There's been a lot of talk about the COVID. There's been a lot of talk about, the new frontier. So I thought I would toss out a couple of questions. So Mr. Host, am I allowed to share my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. This is the beauty of it. You start getting empowered very early when it comes to technology. I'm still waiting for the power here. I'm trying it. So we don't end up like Eze's, no light in the room. So just a few minutes. I'll keep checking once it's ready. Once technologically I can share the screen, you let me know. I know it's still telling me that host has not allowed it, but I hope everyone is having a wonderful time. If you are, please go ahead and give me a 555 on the chat. This is interactive, I'm sorry. For those of us, whether you're on the phone or not, it's going to be interactive. So if you can hear me, give me a 555 on the chat, please. Okay, I see a few people. They've proven that they can actually use Zoom. There are more of us. That's good. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Good, 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 good. I'm seeing more. Congratulations. There are more of us who have actually made the leap into the new technology. That is good. That's an exciting thing. So I'm happy. I hope now I'll give you a second homework before we continue. If you can see my screen, please go ahead and give me a 111. A 111 if you can see my screen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good. The reaction time is kind of increasing. The reaction time is increasing. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So thank you very much for the opportunity to have a chat with everyone. This chat is going to be somewhat slightly different. First, let me just say that COVID-19 for me has been one of the most interesting experiences of my life. Now, I would first give a caveat. It is a terrible experience to lose people. There's been a lot of disruption. But as an artist, what I'm about to share here is that COVID-19 has presented a new perspective that we should take into consideration. So please bear with me as we journey through that so that we can see more of that opportunity and what I am talking about. So let's take a look here. we are all artists in one way or the other. And I'll still get that question because I understand that not all producers consider themselves artists, but I will speak from the side of the artists this evening. So the first thing, instead of describing what it is that we're going to be looking at, I just put it out there in terms of what is the artist and the advocate all about. So I just put some ideas of some quotes of what an advocate is. I know we've heard the word, we've used it, this is not dumbing it down, but it just looks at the people that we are responsible for in this country, the most beautiful country, as several people have said, Nollywood, Nigeria. So who are these people and what is our responsibility to them? So one of the best I like here says that, what are the messages that you are entertaining? It's a double play on words. That you are entertaining and we also create entertainment. Keep that in mind, because as we create the entertainment, what are we having others entertain? Again, keep in mind that we are in a new COVID or post-COVID era. And as I said, this is going to be a sharing of thoughts. I just hope I'll be able to leave you with some things that would engineer some new way of thinking or push us forward towards the benefit of African art and story dynamics. Now, let's take a look at some things here that have been touched. Yes, there have been COVID. Yes, we have had shutdowns, but let's take a look at some areas. One thing you can relate to now is that we have all been forced into technology. Out of everybody who's in here, I'll be the first to confess that even though I happen to be in the industry, I did not know the word Zoom meant anything on the computer other than zooming in and zooming out on the computer, on the camera, prior to December 2019. Now, it's the word that's everywhere. Now, we've all known Skype, we've all known other technology that we've used, but here's the question. You have now been forced to master another way of communication that is fast becoming the main way of communication. So when it comes to the tech world, and we look at COVID, let's weigh our balances and see from an artist's point of view what we should be advocating. Again, keep in mind, 5G is coming. Are you ready? Because you don't approach that world with the old mindset, you approach it with this new world's mindset. Again, we get to the other part, story meets the audience. What works better? Tell me a story, or tell me my story, or tell me a story. Some would look at that as maybe the comparison between reality TV and fictional stories, but it's not that straight cut. But I think that's an easy way for us to put it. So which works better? So let's just take an aggregate. So some of the biggest places you can meet your audience now, Facebook, Instagram. If you're still doing email, you are old school. I was told that by some of my younger cast. In fact, Facebook is kind of quickly fading out. If you're not on Insta, Twitter, Reddit, yeah, let me just inform us that we're kind of not catching up. Everything now, that's where you meet your audience. So let me ask you a question. For those of you that are on Instagram, if you opened it right now, what are you going to see? Are you going to see fiction or are you going to see fact? Are you going to see reality or you are going to see story? Which one sells more? Which one is pushing the frontier? So hence my question, tell me a story or tell me my story. If you believe one is better than the other, please go ahead. I will attend to it later and put it on the chat. Let me move quickly to the next one, education and entertainment, where they meet. All right, so I'm sure I'm not the only parent that has been pulling my hair because I have to oversee the homework, wake up when the kids are going to school. I no longer take them to school. I have to be the school and then work with the teachers. Some of us are already dealing with that. But guess what? From an artist and from a producer, actor, dancer point of view, we're now in the same world. This is the stage. This stage we're on now, This is the stage. So initially we used to wonder, should a film or a story have 5% entertainment, 15% education, or should it be vice versa? If you've ever looked at scripting and looked at your audience and your reach, those are questions you're asking. Well, they tend to be meeting now, at least on this stage. So this is something for us to take into consideration. Now, just to make this a bit more interactive, I am going to go through this journey through 3 different fictional but copyright stories. There are going to be 3 different fictional, and we're just going to look at 1 or 2 questions in those. The first one is Mandamus, the road judge. The second is the Red Seeds of the Savannah, Dilemma of a Village Doctor. And the third is Hollow Dome, Siege on the Rock. So in this experience and exercise that we're going to go through, we're going to look at what applies in Nollywood and maybe the best ways of whether we are answering to that advocacy and what we should be focusing on. There is the tech, and then there is the story. So let's take a look, and I will pose some questions as we go with each of the 3. The log line for rogue judge is simple. A radical judge finds himself locked in prison for 72 hours with 100 men he unjustly sent to prison for life. Now, this is supposed to be a 2-part, 90-minute thriller. The challenge they had was with casting. Now, in this story, the judge is supposed to be a federal judge in today's Nigeria. Now, who can tell me, and please feel free to put it on the chat, who can tell me the problem with producing this in Nigeria and what challenge they had with casting? Anybody? Feel free to put it on the chat. But one of the first things that they did was this. And you as a producer, these are challenges you either have faced or you will be facing. Is a federal judge. If this story was created, say about 4 years ago or 3 years ago, what would it have taught us as a nation in terms of story and our reality? So when we choose scripts and the stories that we're going to deliver or that we are delivering, I'm trying to ask questions as to how are we being advocates for those people that we are supposed to serve. This is one story, the rogue judge. I will move on for time. I will try and cover as much ground so that I can ask the same questions of each of the 3. The Seeds of the Savannah, Dilemma of a Mental Case. A known medical patient discovers poisonous seeds that can prevent the death of half the population of Nigeria in an epidemic that kills men over the age of 70. Supposed to be a weekly 30-minute segment series. They also had problems with casting, the character. I'll move on to the next. The third one, Hollow Dome, a female ex-military officer who saved the president's life falls in love with the first lady. A 120-minute love story. I know one thing that I know most of us would have faced in Nigeria, that what really tends to be pushing are the rom-coms. I don't know if you haven't faced it, I have, but the rom-coms are really what pushes. And we will maybe touch on that if we have enough time. But this is the third story. Now, let's take a look at these 3 stories and some of the challenges that they had to face up to. Now, in terms of casting, one of the challenges they faced was that, well, somebody said that the judge for Mandamus should be a female for it to work. The other said that there's another group that said no, that the judge must be male. Then they said that the judge should be at the lower range, which means a judge who's maybe in his early 30s. And some felt that the judge should be in the older bracket. Some felt that for this to work, the location has to be outside Nigeria, and that the lead should reflect the international audience. How many of you have faced a situation where you are producing content and somebody says, well, how do we reach the European or the British market? How do we reach the American market? How do we reach the global market? These were some of the questions that were faced in each and every one of these three. So the question, and again, I'm trying to take time into consideration. The question we now need to ask is this: if we are supposed to be advocates for the Nigerian audience, are we feeding them what they want, or are we feeding them what they need? I'll give a short experience of some experiences that I had. I happened to have been in Suriname, in South America, doing a documentary. And there was a Nigerian contingent who had come in for that. I had come in from the US. But I don't know if any of you knows about Suriname, but it's a very diverse place. I mean, it's one of the most diverse places I've seen. The only thing that I see it's just that they all speak Dutch. You have everything from, Malay to different groups of people, Asian, European, but they are all from Suriname. Here's the interesting thing. Surinamese also have a group of people known as the Bush Africans. They don't consider it a derogatory name. They basically were those who were brought there during the times of slavery. And they have their own community. Trust me, if you go to this place, I wish I could show you pictures. You would believe that you are in the village in Niger, name it, including the red sand. Now, here's the interesting thing. I had a lady come up to me, and she knew I was from Nigeria. I was behind the camera, and she said, Kwenu. And I turned to her, I was like, okay. She was very dark. She said, Kwenu. I said, okay. How do you know that? Because I was I didn't want to answer back, Kwezondo or something. I was like, okay. So she said, you're from Nigeria, right? I said, yes. I said, how do you know that? She said that Nollywood movies don't stay up to a day on the shelves when it gets to them in Suriname. This is in South America. Doesn't stay a day. That they particularly love it because once one person picks it up, they share it amongst themselves. And this is a huge population. But there was something, I asked her why, and she said that that's the only program that they can see people who look like them, be good, be bad, be rich, be poor, be everything. And they don't have to do it in relation to others. I say this just to give us some of the ideas of what impact we as Nollywood are having on a global stage as well. Now, the other side of this, which I'll just touch on very shortly, is this. I asked her, how do the films get to them? She said it's brought in by the Chinese. Now that's the business side. That's to be taken care of, but that's something to take into consideration. I had the opportunity over the last couple of years, short of the last two, to work extensively with youth in Nigeria doing a stage musical. And I learned something that gave me an insight into what we are today looking at. The people who are marching in Nigeria, who are talking about end SARS, in spite of the COVID. Let's take a look at what is our true lovely country and what we as artists should be doing as advocates. Or could we? I got to understand that these people, that there is more talent in Nigeria than you can find anywhere else. I've been opportunity to have this, but to work in the States, to work here, and I can tell you, it is mind-boggling. But again, it's interesting doing another musical there, Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar, the African adaptation. When a lady came to the producer 2 days later and said she wanted to convert from being a Pentecostal to becoming a Catholic because she watched the musical. This may seem funny, but some of these are just my experiences of seeing how powerful we as artists need to understand that we are. And the impact that we're having, and I'm not just talking about the commercial. The commercial, yes, the numbers are there, but I need us to understand the social, cultural, and some of the impacts that we are having, not just in Nigeria, but beyond. So what are 3 things for each of you? Please just take a pen or write or type. You don't have to send it to me. What are 3 things you think could be learned from each of these stories? And I will get to them again. Mandamus, the Holodome. What can we learn from these? What should be in those stories? Should the problem be who is being cast? If we had made a movie about the Nigerian legal system and a rogue judge, might we be able to strengthen the Nigerian legal system as artists? If we made a story about a mental patient who discovers the solution to a pandemic, might we be able to really show Nigerians what they can do, not what just exists, but what they can do as citizenry to impact positively their own lot? Is this our responsibility as artists? This is my question. Might we add anything to these stories if they were to be produced today, tomorrow, or the day after? My question is simply this: how much are we being visionaries in terms of our role as advocates? I just toss this also as quotes, which I think kind of buttresses everything I'm going to say because I know I don't have that much time. We are artists, we are producers, we are directors, we are filmmakers, whatever we call ourselves. But we can take a word and make it have so many different meanings. So here you have, this comes from Alice in Wonderland. He or she who controls the meaning of words and therefore people's understanding wields the power to control far more. Do you see yourself as being stronger than even the governors and the presidents? Do you see yourself as a producer here in the UK being powerful enough to change the image of every Nigerian within the next 2 years? Are we looking at COVID as a challenge or as an opportunity that will move us forward? And I'll come to that as we touch on slowly. The potential power of art as a force for change has long been known by those who make sure that we do not progress. Do we wait for that to happen, or do we move beyond it? This is my own angle on this whole discussion. So today, there are several level fields that have been set up. Right now, one of the things we need to take into consideration, everybody is the media. Everybody is the media. So again, do we give the society what they want, or do we give them what they need? Now, let me drop a little one in terms of our personal journeys. Are we artists or bankers or both? A question I'll repeat. Are we artists or bankers or both? The pure producers in this would have an interesting view of this. Keep in mind that nature does abhor a vacuum. If we don't grow with the technological landscape, will we survive? The technological landscape, it's not just the technology, but it is also the content, the story. It is all going to be about the Nigerian story, whether we do it here, whether we do it in Nigeria. I'll just leave you as I round up with something a friend of mine mentioned, that there are 4 ways we look at our journey in terms of the storytelling. It's either somebody else is telling their own story and we are a part of it, or somebody else is telling our story and we are not a part of it, or we are telling their story, which means we control what gets into it, or we are telling our story and determine who sets the narrative. Thank you very much. keeping time in mind, I think that would round up my rather serious angle towards COVID-19 and what we're saying. But thank you very much for the opportunity, Malcolm. And I wish everyone very well with the rest of the event.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother, my friend, my colleague, Director Kanayor. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I hand over to Amanda.
Kanayor, thank you so much for joining us. Incredibly informative, I'm sure everybody can agree, and incredibly edifying. So thank you so much for joining us today. So next up on our itinerary is a very, very special trailer. And the trailer that we're going to be viewing is for the main film today, which is called On Your Knees. I don't know whether our fabulous DJ wants to give us a couple of beats as we merge into watching this trailer, because I know that some people have been enjoying some of the musical beats. So Mr. DJ, please feel free to give us a couple of beats, and then we can all enjoy this trailer for the trailer called On Your Knees.
Star boy go bless you with money, oh my girl. Let you marry, bless you with body, oh baby.